Today's topic is history of discovery of atom and explanation of atomic theory, how atomic theory evolved. The story started 500 600 BC years back when pre-Socratic philosophers thought that principally all things contains element water, air and fire. At that moment there were only three elements fire, air and water according to pre-Socratic philosophers. Then Empedocles, he was also pre-Socratic philosopher, he added another one. He took water, air, fire, plus added the earth. And he called them elements and named it at the root of the earth because they are present in all things and they regarded as the building block of all the things.
Who were pre-Socratic philosophers?
Socrates was a famous philosopher, scientist, and he was a mystic also. And he was the teacher of Plato. Before Socrates, there were a number of other philosophers in Greek who were working in different domains, different subjects. For example, there was a Thales, very famous scientist, Anaximander, Anaximenes, Empedocles, as I have mentioned earlier, Zenos, Pythagoras, Pythagoras, these were the pre-Socrates, and many others were present at that. And I was talking about the Empedocles theory that the matter is composed of fire, air, water, and earth. And he went on to explain some other aspects also. He said that there are two types of forces, love and strife. Strife means conflict. It's more convenient to use the word hate, but as Empedocles used the word strive, so I am using the word strife. According to him, love makes the elements come together and bind them, whereas strives pull the elements apart. It is an opposing force. You can say that there were four elements and two forces. Forces of love, binding force, and strife, breaking force. This is the force of attraction and this is the force of repulsion. And these forces, these two forces, joined these four elements to form different things. And in the beginning of the cosmic story, when the universe was in making, it is about 15 to 20 billion year back story, there was only one force, that was love. At that moment, these elements, fire, air, water, earth, bunched together in homogeneous sphere. And love was very, very strong. But at a certain point, strife appeared. Elements started to split apart. Though love resisted, so there happened a constant struggle between love and strife. Love brings elements together, and strife pull them apart. We are all human beings, animals, plants, earth, soil, etc., etc. We are all the creation of love, composed of different elements, binded together in a homogeneous way. When strife intervenes and dominates love, death occurs. Death is dismantling of homogeneous equilibrium of element of what? For non-living things, it is the destruction of their bodies. So there is a constant struggle between love and strife, which we are seeing even today. Things are being made up, things are being destroyed. And this has become an eternal phenomenon of this universe. So M.P. Dockles not only presented his theory about matter, that it is composed of four elements, but he also used two forces to make all the things. He explained in detail how these things are formed. After M.P. Dockles, there was a scientist, Democritus. He said that matter is composed of particles, which we cannot see; they are invisible. And these elements are these particles rather. They have of different sizes, different shapes, and they are constantly in motion, and their number is infinite. This is how he explained the nature of matter and the things around him.
M.P. Dockles explained the formation of Earth and etc. Then how Democritus explained this formation?
So, very good question. M.P. Dockles explained how the things were formed, how Earth was formed. Then Democritus also tried to show his model of construction of things. He said that some atoms, which were at that moment was called particles, that's invisible particles. Some atoms have hooks, while other have holes. One has hook, other has hole. And hook enters the hole to join the two atoms. One atom has got hook, other has got hole. Hook entered into hole, as a result of now two atoms have been combined. By their different arrangements, you will get things at macro level. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 atoms are combined by hook and hole theory. And they can be seen at macro level, at a bigger level. And he explained how things are formed. He said our world emerged from vortex of atoms. Bunch of atoms collided with one another and stick together by hook and hole. Heavy atoms congregated in the center, while the lighter one on the perimeter. And this gave birth to the earth and other things. If you want to see it like in a diagram, according to Democritus model, you consider this marker, this is a hook, this portion is a hook, and this is a hole. These are different atoms present there. They join together, two atoms join together, and they keep on joining with one another, making a larger macro molecule which can be seen from the outside. And the heavier elements, larger elements were in the center, while the lighter elements, smaller elements, they were all around like this. Like this. This is how he explained the formation of different materials and even earth. Then comes our famous Aristotle, and he set aside Democritus' theory and again revived the Empedoclean theory that matter is composed of fire, air, water, and earth.
What is the value of Aristotle's work?
As such, value of Aristotle's work is not positive in any sense, because at that time the atomists were the person who believed that matter is composed of atoms. Atomists believed that matter is composed of fundamental pieces of which they call particles. Aristotle did not agree with them, and he maintained that all material of universe are made up of these four elements: fire, air, water, and earth. He did not contribute much. He just revived the Empedoclean theory. But it's better to say that Aristotle's theory puts atomists about 2000 years back. What Democritus said was later on said by Dalton. But due to intervention of Aristotle, all the atomists and other scientists were detracked from the path that matter is composed of atom. Instead, they started believing that matter is composed of fire, water, air, water, and earth, etc., etc. And then comes the Dalton. Dalton was a school teacher. He revived, rather unearthed, democratic theory after 2000 years, that matter is composed of particles which are indivisible. They cannot be broken apart. They have their unity. You cannot break them. So he put the train which was derailed by Aristotle again on the line, and he revived the Democritus theory.
It is the same Dalton who presented the law of partial pressure.
Oh, yes. It is the same Dalton who presented the Dalton's law of partial pressure. And Dalton's law of partial pressure was very valuable, and in the later part of the book we will study this law. This law, at this moment I will just say that Dalton's law of partial pressure saved lives. It's not appropriate to discuss this law here. I just remembered another thing about Dalton. Dalton was the first who identified the hereditary nature of the red-green blindness. There is a color blindness, and he was the first to explain that. So, back to our topic. Then the modern researchers have now shown that atom is divisible. Though it is invisible, but it is divisible. And it contains more than 100 subatomic particles. Particles which are present in an atom are termed as subatomic particles. Electron, proton, neutron, positron, meson, neutron, neutrino, etc. These are the subatomic particles. But one thing must be kept in mind, that electron, proton, and neutron are the basic particles. So they are termed as fundamental particles. They are subatomic particles. But these three subatomic particles are also called fundamental particles because they are present and they play a vital role and basic role in an atom. So this was the brief history of atomic theory. What is atomic theory? That matter is composed of atoms. It is very similar to cell theory, which Schwann and Schleiden presented, that living bodies of animals and plants are composed of cell. Likewise, atomic theory says matter is composed of atoms. Any question more? Thank you for paying attention.